Hello everyone, Taylorson here and welcome back to our Tour de France playthrough on the Tour de France 2026 game. We are at stage 6, which means it's the first mountain stage of this Tour de France, and here is the general classification heading into it. Juan Ayuso 5 seconds clear of Tadej Pogacar at the top of the general classification, with Remco Evenepoel just under 30 seconds down and Jonas Vingegaard at 40 seconds, and we're going to need every single one of those seconds on our GC favourites because it's 180 plus kilometres and it ends on a category 1 climb, but the climb beforehand is the Col de Tourmalet, so that will do the whittling down, and then a very shallow category 1 climb to finish.
Hi everyone! This stage in the Pyrenees falls somewhere between classic and new. The Tourmalet has traditionally been the pass used the most by the Tour de France and is a regular checkpoint. On the other hand, the finish line in Gavarnie-Gèdre is a new location for this race. And this new stop could benefit the baroudeurs, because the climb up its long but gentle slope is probably not challenging enough for the favourites to make any major moves.
A stage such as this one requires desperate measures, and we've got 3 riders in the breakaway. Matthias Skjelmose is the rider we're controlling at the moment. We are after King of the Mountains points with him. Carlos Verona is in here as a teammate, and Derek G is trying to backdoor his way back into the general classification through winning the stage from this breakaway. But at the moment, Jaco Alula have missed the move and are trying hard on the front of the peloton to try and get a rider across. So that's why the gap is so slim at the moment. But the first King of the Mountains point is upon us, and Jan Uijtdebroeks is trying to attack away. We don't want to be caught in that wall like we were on previous stages with Matthias Skjelmose, and it looks like it's going to be an easy victory for the Danish rider. That's 2 more points for his King of the Mountains jersey, but we need to focus on the bigger climbs that come towards the end of the stage. Second climb of the day then, and it's time to have a look around at our breakaway companions. Of course, we've got 3 riders in there, but the likes of Kevin Vauquelin, Ilan van Wilder, Michael Storer, Damiano Caruso, Uijtdebroeks are in here, so it is a stacked breakaway of climbing talent. It's not the greatest GC riders, but Lenny Martinez is up there as well. He's going to be one of the best climbers in this group, so it's time to try and beat these guys at the second King of the Mountains point. Once again, 2 points for the winner, but this time we're getting caught behind a little bit, but there is a gap emerging on the left-hand side, and we're going to try and shoot through that gap, and indeed we do. We get past Vauquelin, and nobody has any response, so Skjelmose goes 2 for 2, and it looks like we're going to be sweeping up King of the Mountains points here. The intermediate sprint is something we are less interested in, but I've decided to control Derek G since we're going for the stage win with him to try and get some points. We're not going to try too hard, and I think we're just going to sit in the wheels and take this one up from further back rather than coming to the front of the group and trying to win the sprint entirely. But there is a little bit of a gap forming. We're on Trentin's wheel, who I expect will be a much better sprinter than us. The sprints get launched and the flat guys will start coming to the forefront. Velasco trying to move his way through. We're just sat quite nicely on the wheels for now, and Alex Aranburu wins the intermediate sprint, and you can see some of the flat engines that we've got in this breakaway that have pulled it clear on the flat section. The likes of Matteo Trentin and Jonas Abrahamsson. The gap's not been huge throughout the stage. It got to a maximum of around 4 minutes, but it is still at 2.5 minutes up the Col d'Aspin. We've got 2 more climbs left after this one, but this is the first Category 1 climb of the stage, and we've still got Verona and G up here. Verona is hanging on with the last of his abilities. He looks like he's just gone now, so we are down to 2. But Skjelmose has plenty of energy on this climb, and opportunities may start to arise as Lenny Martinez goes for the attack. Kevin Vauquelin is on the wheel. Derek G is up there with us, but we're going to fly past them all and hopefully hold ourselves towards the end. And we do. That +3 rating on the day for Skjelmose is really coming good for us because we've won all of the climbs so far on this stage, and we just keep increasing our lead to Kevin Vauquelin in second. Heading to the top of the Tourmalet now, and we've switched leader's jersey to control. We are with Juan Ayuso in what I'm calling the peloton, but it is just a slim group now of GC favourites. Skjelmose and G West are the only two riders up the road now, and they are working together to make sure Skjelmose takes maximum points over the top of the Tourmalet. That is 20 more for his King of the Mountains bid. And it looks like they're going to do that as they go over the top, but there have been no attacks, just a gradual whittling down, and Tadej Pogacar has been on the front doing it, so perhaps expending some energy, but the likes of Tom Pidcock have gone, Florian Lipovic has gone, Isaac Del Toro and Matteo Jorgensen, so all of the domestiques have been cleared. We're on to the final climb, and it is a very awkward one in terms of profile. It reminds me of the Megève stage. I think it was 2022 that Magnus Cort won, because they called it a mountain on the profile, but actually it was a bit like this climb in that it was 4% average kind of, and an easier one for the flat trucks to get up. And in the end, Magnus Cort won that stage, and it looks like it's going to be another opportunity for the better flat riders to go and win on this stage, at least the ones in this front group. And I'm looking at the likes of Derek G, but Ben Healy is the other pink jersey in this group. You can see that Carapaz is in front of us and Paul Seixas in the white. Then it's Jonas Vingegaard in the black, Remco Evenepoel in front of him, and then Ben Healy and Tadej Pogacar at the front of the race. Pogacar is chasing down Derek G, which is exactly what I want to happen, because we're going to dangle Derek G and Skjelmose out front and see whether Pogacar can catch them, and even if he does, we're sitting in the wheels and not eating any wind at all, you can see in the bottom right hand corner, so we're doing absolutely fine. But in real life, I think Tadej Pogacar is going to win this stage. I suppose we'll find out, but he's got the form. The sprint on stage 5 in real life too was a little bit random because Olav Koy won the stage, obviously, and he just picked the right wheels at the right time. Astana were the only real team that got it together, so perhaps keep your eye on Max Canter for the next couple of sprints, but my pick, Tim Merlier, was not in the right place at the right time. Neither was Philipsen, and fair play to Koy taking the win there. Anyway, enough yapping because we've got ourselves a stage to try and win, and I'm getting more and more confident as this stage goes along. Unfortunately though, Ben Healy is now helping out Tadej Pogacar, so not only is he going to pull the group closer to Derek G and Matthias Skjelmose, but he's going to save a little bit of energy for Pogacar for following an attack like this. I think that was Remco Evenepoel that tried to launch it, or was it Jonas Vingegaard actually up front trying to launch a move away. We're going to sit nicely on the wheels, but they have dragged us much closer to Derek G West and Matthias Skjelmose. So Derek G is still up front. I've upped the tempo with him, but Matthias Skjelmose is pretty much out of energy, which means he's probably not going to be able to follow this attack from Paul Seixas. I'm going to try and lean on the other big contenders, and especially Remco Evenepoel, because I think that flat stat is going to really help us out on the shallower gradients to go and sit on the wheels. Derek G West still up front, and it looks like the attacks have been nullified, so I'm just going to continue ploughing on with G West and see if we can win the stage with him. It would be a right turn up for the books if we did so, but we're just sitting on the wheels at the moment and we still have enough energy to try and take this to the end. I think we just need the attacks to slow down and fewer riders to go, and hopefully Ben Healy being on the front will try and help neutralise those attacks. Derek G West then remains up front. He's got 20 seconds of an advantage on the peloton behind, led still by Ben Healy, who has trundled on the front for a kilometre now, trying to calm everybody down, but Paul Seixas says no thank you, I don't want any serene calm in this group, I want to put everybody into the red, and will do so by attacking. Derek G West is about to get immediately reeled in, but Seixas looks around, sees everybody is still on his wheel, and decides not to continue with his effort. Jonas Vingegaard latched onto that wheel the quickest, and Tadej Pogacar slightly struggling, perhaps you could read? Maybe not though, as Paul Seixas decides to go once more. This time Ben Healy tries to up the tempo for a Richard Carapaz lead out, and Jonas Vingegaard is trying to do the same. Perhaps they see some weakness in the world champion and perhaps the yellow jersey as we go under the Flamme Rouge. One important corner before the finish line, and Ben Healy's trying to lead this one out for EF Education EasyPost, but Juan Ayuso jumps them through the corner, takes the inside line and surprises everybody, and he looks like he's going to take the win. He does, with the gap to the second group. Ladies and gentlemen, call the police, because Juan Ayuso has just completed a mugging of the GC riders. He's stolen their bonus seconds, and perhaps he's stolen a little bit more time on the rest of the favourites. Ayuso wins the stage for Lidl-Trek, and after Mads Pedersen's victory on yesterday's game, we have won 2 in 2 now for the American team, and he holds the yellow jersey still and perhaps increases his advantage on the rest of the group. We're going to see the results now. And indeed we do. 3-second gap to Richard Carapaz, Tadej Pogacar and Remco Evenepoel. Healy at 8 seconds, and Jonas Vingegaard and Paul Seixas, perhaps from attacking each other, have run out of energy towards the end and lose 11 seconds, but we also gain 10 bonus seconds on those guys and gain 6 on Pogacar and 4 on Carapaz, which means that in the general classification now, we lead by 14 seconds ahead of Tadej Pogacar in second, Remco Evenepoel third on 42 seconds down, and Jonas Vingegaard now over a minute behind in the GC, which is a really positive sign for us heading into the next stage. But that will be in the next episode. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed this playthrough. Lots of attacking, so why not leave a like? And subscribe if you're new to the channel. Stay safe, enjoy the stage, and goodbye.